Yo,
Yo. We
what up? What up?
are live.
Welcome, guys. Episode 9, little Thursday action for you. I want to thank Sean for being flexible this week, backing up a day.
Yep. Anytime like that. We'll drop this link out to the dudes.
Right on. Yeah, let them know we're on episode 9. I got 5 on it.
I got 5 on it.
That's in lieu to old Joe Mixon hanging 5 TDs up this weekend. Looks like Mario found himself an offensive coordinator.
Finally.
Yeah.
It took a while, man.
He
Must have hired somebody, made the right hires. And, speaking of dropping 5, I wish we had the same thing the fantasy footballers have, because he dropped 55 points.
55! Yeah, that's a good one.
I love that drop.
I bet they hammered that thing this week. I didn't listen to any of them this week, but
I did.
They're probably all over it. Bob got a 3rd win in a row, 2nd win in a row over the top team in the league. He's on fire. He's the hottest team in the league right now.
Hot. So hot.
Broncos got a bye this week.
Hey, you know what that means? They didn't lose.
That's right. Colts lost. Yeah, unlike the other horse. They didn't only lose the game, they lost their head coach. Moving on from Reich. What do you think about that?
I think it was the right call. I think that they've had some really good teams and just struggled to string together enough wins. And when you've got a team that had Super Bowl aspirations coming into it and you've stunk this bad, you got to make a change. And, and now we've got good old Jeff there coming back to Indy.
Yep. Yeah, what's your thought on that?
I'm a little torn because they have some guys on staff that are, on that next up kind of level or already have head coaching experience. They decided to go a completely different route with no real coaching experience in the NFL. Granted, a lot of professional experience. Won a Super Bowl with the Colts. He knows what it takes, to be around people that have a really good work ethic and know how to win a lot of games. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see. I think it was one of those moves where if the Colts genuinely think they have a contender for a really good head coach on staff, they don't want to ruin that and ruin their reputation with a lost season. And so I think Jeff Saturday was just like a surge of energy to the team and just to see what happens. I think that's why he's there, but we'll see. I mean, Jeff Saturday as a dude, just, the interviews and whatnot he's done over the years as a Colt, just grown to really like him as a person and as an analyst too. He's been doing he's got some really fresh takes, so it'll be fun to see. Yeah,
I didn't hate it. What else are you going to do, at this point? I know that you said there's a couple guys in the building, but why not let them have this season to kind of, finish it out and maybe not ruin or tarnish anything for next year. So I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, that's what I think. I also think, like, if you've got multiple options or you're going to consider going outside, like, see who steps up, like if there's I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, the guy who's going to be calling the plays now. If he can step up in a manner that, without the head coaching title, he can gain the respect of all the teammates. That's the kind of guy you want, coaching a team like Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. That's what he did. And so we'll see.
Yeah, I like that. His name is Parks Frazier, by the way. He's the specialist assistant quarterbacks coach. He's going to be the offensive play caller. That's him. I think he's 30 years old is what I read somewhere.
Yeah. Old fart.
That's pretty cool. 30 years old, calling plays in the NFL.
Yeah. Must be the same guy calling plays for Mario last week.
Yeah, no kid. Maybe they just hired him straight from Mario's team.
That's probably what happened.
Eagles are still undefeated. There's not much.
We're going to say that every week for a while. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't have to. I'm not going to have to erase anything there or change anything as far as that part goes. The Josh Allen one, fingers crossed on him. He did have an elbow injury. Has not practiced yet this week, but they're being pretty coy on if he's going to play Sunday. I don't think he's going to play. I feel like it's pretty serious, and I know that this is a big game. The Vikings are good, but in the long run, this game doesn't matter. It's not a division game. It's not a conference game. Maybe it's better that you do sit Josh Allen for it, just in case. If there's any sort of risk of him damaging it worse, you might as well just let him rest.
Yeah, and the storylines, Case Keenum, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the perfect week for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, it just stinks. Like, definitely don't want anything bad to happen to Josh Allen, even though if he plays, I'm going against him this week. I still want him to play. Or if he sits out, like, get healthy after a week. Like,
yeah, we want to see him. We want to see him pop off. He is the highest scoring fantasy player this year, among any position, and he's only played 8 games too.
Yep.
Because of that bye. So that's kind of crazy. Quarterbacks do typically score more if they're gonna, have good games or just any time really. But it's just crazy to put that up there and say he's only played 8 games and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Trade alert. We had a trade last week going into the weekend. JR and I executed a trade. Tyreek Hill, Gerald Everett, and Justin Herbert for Jalen Hurts, Mark Andrews, and Tyler Boyd. What were your thoughts on that trade?
Very first thought was, damn, Tyreek gets around, man. He's been on 7
bicycle, dude.
4 teams now.
Yeah. Half the league has had him.
Yeah. And it's not like it's because he's bad. It's actually because he's good. That's why he's getting moved around. I don't think it was a bad trade. I think it helped both teams out where they needed help. I know how hard it probably was getting rid of Hurts and Andrews. Had the injury not happened, I don't know if you would have made that trade or not, but who knows? Yeah,
the injury had a lot to do with it, and then the fact that I had Zach Ertz from Mario, it kind of made me feel better about trading him. But I was only going to do it, like I said. Still, I'm only doing it for a number 1 guy, regardless of the injury. I didn't think he was going to miss a week. I kind of felt bad for JR that he missed, but it happens. I think he'll be fine the rest of the year. I wouldn't worry about it too much if I was JR.
Yep. And then there was just another trade.
Yeah, just another trade that went down today. You want to go ahead and give the rundown on that one? It involved you.
Yeah, it did. And that was one where I traded Damon, and I sent it out there, and I actually sent that same trade to a couple of different people, but clearly receiving someone else similar. There's another trade that's out there too. We'll see what happens. But it was Taysom Hill and Stephon Diggs. That's the name. Stephon Diggs that's in there for St. Brown and Jerry Jeudy. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jerry Jeudy. It's one of those things where I feel like we both have juicy matchups, and I need to get a win this week. So giving out Stephon Diggs was tough. I was going to bench Taysom Hill in lieu of Freiermuth this week and probably the rest of the year, just for that consistency factor. And so, it's tough giving that up, but now I've got another receiver there and a solid flex.
Hang on just a second, Sean. We got a caller.
Caller into the show.
Caller coming into the show here. Caller coming into the show, 8-Man Fantasy Show. Rick Jadesman. He's a what's that?
Alive?
Yeah, you are live. You're live. We gotta.
Man, I'm a long time listener, man. I'm first time caller. I'm about 6'1", 180. Ding! Y'all watch the Dan Patrick Show?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Y'all do that? Y'all do that? Yeah. So, man, I want to call about the Colts.
Yeah. My producer told me you're an avid Colts fan.
Big time Colts fan, man. I have been a Colts fan since 1884 when they moved to Baltimore from Plymouth Rock. I'm talking a long fucking time. I've been a big time Colts fan. So I want to talk about the new coach. Okay, now I have a problem. And I like Jim Irsay, and I love the pill popping he does, and it's a big entertainment factor, and the reason I watch the Colts. But I'm wondering why they hired Jeff Saturday, right?
Right. Yeah. Jeff Saturday. They hired Jeff Saturday.
Why in the fuck would you hire Jeff on Saturday and then let Frank coach the game on Sunday?
So I think you're a little mixed up here, Rick. The guy's name that they hired is Jeff Saturday. His last name is Saturday. They didn't hire him last Saturday and then let Frank coach.
Well, what the fuck's his name every other day of the week?
So Saturday, his last name fits a day of the week. It just so happens. So Jeff Saturday. Do you remember the old center for the Colts?
They hired that Jeff Saturday?
Yes, that one.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope.
Oh, well, shit. I mean, how in the hell are they going to hire an offensive line coach without having a head coach?
So, again, I think you're a little mixed up here, Rick. They didn't hire him to be the offensive line coach. They hired him to be the head coach. He just used to be an offensive lineman.
So he's the head coach.
He's the head coach now.
Well, shit, man. At least they brought somebody in with some fucking experience, right? I mean, we had Frank Reich, and he'd never been head coach before. But now you hire somebody with just a ton of head coaching experience, and that's great for the Colts.
And Sean, is this correct? Has Jeff Saturday ever been a head coach in the NFL?
Definitely not in the NFL. Maybe Little League.
So I don't know about the experience that you're getting with him.
So he's never coached before?
I think he may have coached high school or junior high, maybe.
Well, at least that this Ballard character has enough wits about him to bring in an inexperienced coach and surround him with solid coordinators that have called plays before and have a lot of experience in the NFL, right?
Well, that's something that Sean and I were just talking about, actually. It seems as if Jeff Saturday, not Jeff on Saturday, Jeff Saturday, has promoted Parks Frazier, 30-year-old assistant quarterbacks coach, to call the plays. He's never called plays before in the NFL.
Oh, he does play Madden, though.
Does play a lot of Madden.
Oh, well, fuck me, man. I gotta go.
You gotta go figure this out, huh?
I gotta go call somebody.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for calling, Rick. We appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Awesome. Awesome caller. Rick seemed to be a little confused about the name and pretty much all aspects of the hire for the Colts.
He's not the only one. I think every Colts fan is kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. We remember that name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one of those things, I think the mission here, though, maybe the thought process is we keep bringing in these quarterbacks that have a lot of experience and they're not winning us a lot of games. So maybe we just go with somebody that has no experience to see how that plays out.
Yeah, maybe try it out.
It can't be worse than it is now.
Yep. So we were speaking about that trade a little bit, getting in about you and Damon. You'd given Diggs. You said that you were probably going to bench Hill this week in lieu of Freiermuth. You did get 2 starters out of it now, though, out of Judy and St. Brown.
Yep.
I want
And
to.
maybe-
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe it's a gut feeling. And this year, playing statistics has always kind of been my strong suit in fantasy football, and this year it has not been. And it's just been somewhat discouraging when I just have to keep giving up good players to try to get two good players, right?
Mhm.
Got to give up great to get two good to fill in spots for players who just aren't making it. So we'll see what happens. I think both of them are starters pretty much every week moving forward. Denver, although they struggled really early, they're starting to move the ball a little bit on offense, and they are forcing the ball to Jerry Jeudy the last couple games before the bye. So hoping that continues. And this week alone, I mean, who is it? Oh my gosh, I just went blank. Who are they playing this week?
Who's that? The Broncos are playing the Titans.
Titans, yeah. So the Titans,
They got a poor defensive backfield.
yeah, and so they've given up the most 20-plus yard plays, and Jerry Jeudy has like one of the highest catches of 20-plus yard plays. So it's just a really good matchup this week. Is it worth giving up Stephon Diggs for? Maybe not, but if I lose this week, playoff hopes going down. So it's a week-by-week basis right now.
I wanted to ask you this, and I know it's not trade hating at all. Well, I don't want it to seem like it is. Would you take Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Egyptian god, and Jerry Jeudy over Stephon Diggs and Curtis Samuel? See where I'm going?
Yeah. No, I do. Yeah. I definitely see where you're going. And yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's
because here's the thing. I mean, with maybe starting Josh Allen, maybe not playing. Really good matchups for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jerry Jeudy this week.
Mhm.
And that was my whole mindset is I have to get a win this week. How can I make it happen?
That's what I meant.
Last long term, probably, but we'll see this week what happens. Because I'm getting ready to go against Devin, who's going to score 180 points.
Sure, yeah, and that's what I meant was this week, not a long run thing. It was just like a this week situation.
Yeah, this week I would.
Yep, I would too because, like you said, you don't know if Allen's going to play. And I mean, I don't know how much that even hurts Diggs. I know Keenum and Diggs have probably got a pretty good relationship, but yeah, I mean, I think I would this week too. I would take St. Brown and Jeudy over the other two.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts Diggs as much as it hurts, like a McKenzie and Gabriel Davis.
Yeah, me too. We'll get to the winners of this week.
Cool.
Week 8. First one, we'll get into my game. That was Wilson versus Florida Sunshines. Finally picked up another win. It's my second win on the season. I beat JR 134-114. We'd executed the trade during the weekend, and it ended up being a little bit of a difference maker for the ball game with the Tyreek Hill having a big game. But it was good for me to get my second win. Also, that's the first time I've scored over 130 points and got a win too. So that felt good.
It is cool to see that JR's team this week, 2 of his 3 highest players scores were quarterbacks, and both of them were from trades.
Yeah. Yep. So it shows that he got better there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep. And he has Nick Chubb on a bye, so he had him on a bye, so he'll come back. His team will get better. Jamar Chase will come back here in a couple of weeks too. He's just got to manage, like we said, getting through last week and this week were a couple big buys for him, and then just trying to get Chase back as fast as he possibly can to get into the playoffs and make that run. Mario and Devin, they had a huge game. I feel bad for Devin, man. That's the second time in a row he scored over 165 points and lost.
Yeah, for sure. Because I said earlier, like a few weeks back, that you had the best team that, like, with 1 win. He's definitely got the best team with 3 wins through 9 weeks I've ever seen.
Oh, no doubt.
Like, it's not even close. His team is probably the best overall team in the league.
Would you look at that team and say that it's lost 4 games in a row?
No way.
Right?
There's not a chance. You want to pull that screen up on there.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. We'll look at Devin's team. I mean, he's got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Alvin Kamara, who is finally like catching fire. Travis Etienne, again, starting job, catching fire. Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, Kyle Pitts, DJ Moore, Patriots D. But he's also got a couple other guys like Tony Pollard. He had Zeke, AJ Dillon, Cordero Patterson, who's a touchdown machine when he's actually in. Like this last week, he scored 18 points. His first game back from injury. I mean, his team is just stacked, and he just can't catch a break.
Yeah, and in that 0-4 stretch, he has had a couple of buys from his quarterbacks, but I think he had Kamara put up 40 and he lost one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just had big points get wasted. And that sucks because we've talked about that before. It kind of fantasy has a way to balance itself out sometimes. You know, whenever you score 180, the next week you're going to have a lower week, and his higher weeks are turning up losses.
So he scored 168 and lost, 179 and lost, 133. I mean, that's like but I mean, if you look at the rest of the league, that was still the third or fourth highest. So still,
yeah.
What was that? Yeah, dud there, but yeah, I mean, his team is just really good. It just hasn't all been clicking on the same week, and it'll be interesting to see when it does. He may have a week like Mario just did, flirting with 200 on a week where everyone just shows up.
Right. Yeah, because he hasn't had Kamara show up lately, and when he does, man, it'll be scary.
Yep. It won't be this week, though.
This isn't the time he's going to do it.
Nah.
You got a new defensive coordinator.
We got an answer for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Tommy John surgery.
It's Tommy John, yeah. His name's Tommy John. Third game is Damon versus you. Damon got the win over you, 136-97.
Yeah, that was a big old dud, dude. When my highest score was Trevor Lawrence with 16 points.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen that week.
Right. That was a tough one.
Yep.
Then the Grilling Dad game of the week was Bob versus Drake, Mommy Chasers versus Logan's mom. It was the Mommy Bowl, if everybody remembers that from last week. Bob come up with the win, 158, to 132. I thought Drake was able to do well and score a decent amount, a respectable amount of points with the two guys that he had on buys. So he was able to figure that out, and at least a respectable score.
With McCaffrey and Saquon out, and just a great plug, throwing Kenyon Drake in there.
Yep.
I mean, he put up some good points, and just a tough loss. But mentioned it earlier. I mean, Robert's just been on fire. So
yeah, bad time to run into Bob on that.
Yep.
Any bad beats that you noticed?
Anytime that you score 168 points like that and you lose, it's going to be a bad beat. I mean, that's just rough. That just sucks to happen. That was really the only thing that I saw.
Yep, I thought the same thing. There was no game decided by less than 20 points this entire week. But that one I would consider that a bad beat, though. Scoring that many points and losing just anytime, doesn't matter. You just happen to play against somebody that had Devontae Adams and Joe Mixon on their team, and Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry's turning into a weekly stud too. Not that he wasn't, but I remember, in week 3, people were there was a big question mark on his head, and it's just like, we just forgot or something that he.
That's what's about to happen with Najee Harris too.
You think so?
I hope so. I need somebody on my bench.
Oh yeah, I forgot you said. I don't know. I don't know what his deal is. I think
he had a plate in his foot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He got it removed.
So he's okay.
Coming off a bye after getting that removed. I think this is the week for him. he might make an appearance in my starting lineup,
Okay.
just straight off a gut feel. It really depends if Aaron Jones plays or not, to be honest.
Yep. I traded him, and it was in a different league, but I traded Najee Harris for Tyler Higbee, and both of us are like, or nowhere. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't move after the trade.
Yeah.
But
speaking of, who is the backup quarterback in Los Angeles?
for the Chargers,
No, for the Rams.
oh, I don't even know.
Because isn't that a concussion he's working on right now, dealing with?
Stafford, yeah. His wife, man. I don't have a beef with her. I don't have beef with anybody, but she came out and was like, she tweeted something and was kind of complaining to the NFL about that, about how Matt had a concussion, and she was just mad, really. But she was saying, basically, just repeating what they've been saying lately, and that everybody needs to have a grass field and not turf, and it's dangerous because Matt hit his head.
They should too, but
I agree, they should. However, that game was being played on a grass field. So what's her point?
she doesn't have one. She just wants to bitch about something.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I don't want beef, but like, come on. But it didn't have anything to do with it at all. I'm sorry that your husband got his head hurt, and that sucks. And you're right. Everyone should have grass fields, but do it on a different day, different argument.
Yeah, John Wolford. That's the backup.
I wouldn't play him in anything.
No, definitely not.
I would start the Cardinals defense, which I am doing.
I will definitely do that.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, though, for real, with Kyler being, day to day, if Matt Stafford is out, I let Kyler rest.
Yeah, why not?
I think the Cardinals are good enough without Kyler all around, like defensively, running backs. I mean, any quarterback can throw it up to DeAndre Hopkins, get the ball out. So,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, any quarterback could throw a screen 35 times a game like the Cardinals do.
Yeah.
Cliff Screensberry is what people are calling him out here.
That's funny. I like that.
I like it too. A&J, plug and play of the week. If anybody needs any electrical work in the area, call the owner of Florida Sunshines, JR. Him and Austin run A&J Electric. They will hook you up. A&J plug and play of the week. I put down Justin Fields for 42 points. He finally made his way into a starting lineup in our league. That was a good time to do it.
Yep, definitely a good time to do it. He didn't drop 42 though, right?
Yeah.
Dang, I did not realize he dropped that many points. He did 42 points. Holy cow.
Yeah. So I really liked, and you even mentioned it earlier, I liked Drake's plug with Kenyon Drake. And that was the number one that I had written down. And then I considered it, Justin Fields, although he won't be a plug anymore, he's going to start all the time now. That was a plug that week. He was a plug that week, and he hung up 40 points. So that was pretty good. So I gave Kenyon Drake an honorable mention, and then I also gave an honorable mention to Joshua Palmer putting up 18. That was a pretty good one, too.
That was solid. Man, and I just feel bad for Justin Herbert. He has got nobody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, nothing. He's got Eckler and Palmer, and that's pretty much it. And I don't think Keenan Allen's going to come back until he's 100%, so it's probably going to be a while before he comes back. And I don't know what Mike Williams' deal is, how long he's supposed to be out.
I dropped him and stopped caring. He was going to be out like 4 weeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It wasn't long enough to be on the IR, but long enough to not be on my bench.
That's annoying. Yeah. Anytime, I think if they're just going to be out, you should be able to throw them on your IR.
Yep.
See any bad starts?
I mean, everyone on my team.
Okay.
For real, I mean, that's how I felt. I was looking, I'm like, okay, well, literally every one of these is a bad start. Not necessarily compared to what was available on my bench, but, what are you going to do?
So I did have Matt Stafford written down as a bad start. I don't think he should be starting in this league.
He shouldn't even be rostered in our league.
Yeah, I don't think he should be. I don't know who else is out there who you could even get. Honestly, I haven't.
Now I have Russell Wilson to replace.
Oh yeah. So, but he was on a
big of an upgrade, but
he was on a bye.
Yeah.
It's a slight upgrade, I think. I think Russell's going to have a way better back half of the year than he did a front half. So
I do too. But yeah, we'll see.
I'm not saying he's going to like throw up 25 or 30 up a week, but I think you're looking at a better floor now. 15 or 18 floor. Hopefully they let him cook a little.
Hey, let's ride.
Let's Broncos country. Let's ride. I had Kyle Pitts written down as a bad start as well, even though Devin did hang up 168 points. There's a lot of tight ends out there that you could start over Kyle Pitts. I know he had a good week last week, and I know I was high on him last week. There was one reason I was high on him last week, and that was that particular game that he was playing.
Yep.
Against the Chargers.
Yep. And he had 1 week, and it was just enough.
Or not the week before that.
Yeah, just enough to make people want to play him again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's going to be like that the rest of the year. That's the thing, like Atlanta, they just run the ball so much.
Yeah.
He just isn't going to get that volume, and he's going to be touchdown dependent for fantasy play. And that's not good for tight end. Not in an 8-man league.
Not an 8-man, yeah. There was a prop bet tonight on FanDuel. It was DJ Moore and Kyle Pitts to each have over 25 yards. And I almost took it. And then I thought again, was like, Kyle Pitts might not get 25 yards receiving.
Yeah.
He might have 4 catches and 18 yards.
Yeah, that's rough.
So I didn't take it, but.
Not a worse start, but because you said that, I put a bet. If we had a segment, this would be cool, like near the DFS, like a guarantee touchdown of the week.
Mm-hmm.
We put one player on it. Maybe it's part of our pick 2. I don't know what we do, but I have a guy this week who I think is guaranteed to score a touchdown.
I'll bet on it if you got it.
I already put a bet on it.
Who is it?
Chris Godwin.
Okay.
He's getting almost 9 targets a game, and he scored, I think 0. Yeah, he scored 0 touchdowns so far this year.
So what makes you say he's going to get one this week?
It's also just Tom Brady's finally was able to exhale, getting that win. And I don't think Tom Brady's going to be like a number 1 fantasy QB the rest of the year, but I think we're going to see a lot more consistency with him. Chris Godwin's going to be a big part of that.
I got an idea. It'll be a new segment. We'll put it right by the DFS, and we'll call it TD's Nuts. And we each pick one player who we think will score a touchdown that week.
Got it. Cool.
TD's Nuts. All right.
TD's Nuts.
I like it. We'll get to the power rankings here. You want to get into yours first?
Yeah. I mean, I've got Damon, Drake, Mario, and then Devin, and then Robert. That one was tough because of that winning streak. And then JR, Logan, and then myself. I put myself at the bottom. I dropped 97 points, man. I don't deserve to be up there.
New anchor and Sean. I'll start with mine. I'll go from back to front. Mix it up this week. I've got you at 8 as well. What was your new net? Gravedigger at 8. Wilson moving up to 7. Look out. Florida Sunshines, I got him at 6. Alave Nother at 5. Those two was a little tough for me. I wanted to put Devin back at 6 and JR at 5, but the points that Devin has put up, you got to give him some love there somewhere. And JR just lost to me, so you deserve to drop and you lose to me. And then I got Mario at 4, and Sir Mix-a-Lot. I told him that's what I was going to do, and I moved Mommy Chasers Rob up to 3. Said, if you get a win this week, you go to 3 for me. And then Logan's mom hanging tight at 2, and then Damon, the GOATs, at 1.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't have Robert higher was just the overall record.
Sure.
He's definitely hottest team in the
Yeah.
league right now. Same with Devin. I wanted Devin's team to be higher. Like, it's so hard to say that he's not like a top 3 or 4 team in this league when you just look at the team.
Yeah.
And you factor in the record as well. I mean, there's no reason that his team and my team should have the same record right now.
There was a moment whenever I was filling those out where I had Bob at 3, and then whenever I got to 4, I started to almost put Devin down, and then I thought, man, I've been kind of giving Mario some shit lately, and he just scored 190 points. He deserves to be in the top 4 in the playoff here in the power rankings for me, and then that's whenever I got back to the 5 and was like, ooh, who is it, JR or Devin here? But yeah, Devin almost got into 4 just because of the high scores. But
Hey, man, Lions, they scored a lot of points early on, and they still weren't winning games.
it's true. Very, very true. They did the Hard Knocks for the beginning of the year. Did you know the Cardinals are doing the in-season one?
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. I heard it was pretty good. Devin and a guy at work, Lucas, were saying that they watched it and said it was pretty good.
Yeah, the Colts one last year was really fun to watch.
I liked that one a lot too.
Yeah.
A whole lot. It sucked for Colts fans to watch because like the back half of that season sucked so bad. So I wouldn't like having to watch that, but it was really cool. I thought, like, just seeing Indianapolis and everything, like,
Yeah.
Waiver adds notable injuries. Wasn't too much on the waiver wire whenever I looked earlier today.
No, there wasn't a whole lot.
One thing, you did pick up Russell Wilson. JR picked up the Saints defense. I think they're going to have a very good defensive week. And then I did pick up Jeff Wilson Jr. He's back on the Wilson train. And now I also have a reason to have my team name be called Wilson again.
Yeah, I already have to change my team name because it's no longer Grave Digger. Now I'm in the grave. I dug a grave, and now I've got to get my way out of it.
Yeah, that's funny. So, yeah, you got Russell Wilson. I did pick up – this was an ad, not a claim, but I picked up the Cardinals defense and dropped Deion Jackson. I liked the Cardinals being able to play the Rams this week. I don't care if Matt Stafford is playing. The Rams haven't done well against most defenses. So I liked having them. And then I also have the Vikings defense, which I kept them around just in case Josh Allen doesn't play. But every day that goes by, I'm kind of talking myself out of even keeping them because I'm kind of thinking Case Keenum might have a good game, you know. And we still might hang 25 or 30 points on him. So I'll probably go with the Cardinals.
That's what I would do. So
And
I'll probably want to do the opposite.
do what?
So that's what I would do. So you probably want to do the opposite.
Okay. Then JR did pick up David Njoku. He's coming back. Should do well. And he dropped Darren Waller. He went to the IR. He's not listed on our notable injuries because it wasn't there whenever I made the edit, but he is a notable injury. Something to look at. Him and Renfro both actually going to the IR. So that just gave an uptick in Devontae Adams, and then anybody who's looking to stream a wide receiver in Mac Hollins too. So something to pay attention to. JR also got Jared Goff. So he's got a new quarterback. Notable injuries. Romeo Dobbs went down with an ankle injury. Kind of looked bad. I think it's a high ankle sprain, actually, is what they said. So he's going to miss time.
Yep. Those are rough.
Aaron Jones, ankle injury. I'm not sure what the extent is of that.
He did practice. He was limited in practice today, but being able to get out there and participate, I think, was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's actually a pretty good chance he plays this week, but we'll see. It's gonna be tough to play him right now. He's in my flex because it's hard to not play him when I just traded so much for him.
He's not in your flex right now, but
Oh, did I take him out?
yeah, you got Judy in there.
Oh yeah, I already took him out. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. See how it plays out. He's part of a trade request right now that we're talking about.
I got a trade request out there right now too. No, I don't. Devin must have declined it. I just can't see it.
I sent some really juicy trades today. If Damon hadn't had accepted his so quick, I'm curious if Robert would have accepted it. It included Stephon Diggs as well. We'll never know.
I mean, I guess Devin had to have declined it. Maybe, I don't know. I sent a trade to him though. It involved some juicy ones. Josh Allen, though, we talked about that too with the elbow injury. Hasn't practiced all week. He was seen today with a sleeve on his elbow. We'll see. Again, I think he should probably sit. I know you think he should probably sit.
Yep, he should.
So,
I mean, honestly, though, like taking this game, going against him in fantasy, taking that out of the equation. I mean, if I'm the head coach or the GM, I'm saying, hey, let's, like you said, this isn't a division game. Let's pump the brakes. Let's play it safe here. This is our guy for the next, 10, 15 years.
Right. I was talking to my brother, and that UCL injury, like we were saying he's going to need to call that one Tommy guy, not Hilfiger, John. And I was talking to my brother about it, what his thoughts were on if quarterbacks if they need as much time off as what baseball players do. And my brother said probably he doesn't know, he's not a doctor, he's just a baseball coach, but he said he would think probably not as much time necessarily because quarterbacks use more of a shoulder than an elbow is kind of what he was saying than a pitcher does. So even if he was to miss time, he could likely do that sort of surgery in the off season if the injury is something that he's not going to damage more. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to repair the entire thing anyway, why not just put a sleeve on it and try to manage the pain and wait till the end of the year, and then you'll come back the next year. It's not like you have to miss a full year like pitchers do.
Right. And I mean, pitchers throwing 90, 100, pitches a game is a lot different than throwing 30 to 40 passes a game for Josh Allen.
Yeah, and you can coach around that too, right?
Yeah. Yep. You can run the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
Shorter passes, so you're not putting as much into it. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see how it goes. But I know a lot of pitchers after they get Tommy Johns, they throw harder.
They do. That's a fact.
Yeah, I wonder if Josh Allen already has one of, if not the strongest arms in the NFL. I wonder if he'll be able to throw the ball even further.
I bet he would. I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't. I don't know. Again,
it's not an elbow thing, so it won't affect it.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I was going to say. Is I don't know how much that will really change the way that he throws the football. I don't know. It will make his elbow stronger. That's a fact because that's what happens with those guys in baseball. They will. A lot of times, it's the dudes that throw really, really hard. Which, whenever you get to the MLB, the majority of them are throwing really hard. But I'm talking the guys that throw 100, that hard, not 90. Like guys that pump 100 every pitch, every time they're throwing a fastball. Those dudes almost have to get Tommy John at least once. It's just eventually going to have to happen. And a lot of them now are electing to do it right after they get drafted, when they're 20 or 21. They're like, hey, I need Tommy John. They just get it and they get it over with. You know what I mean? And they're good to go.
Yeah.
That's probably what I would do if I had a choice, if I was that good. But
yeah. I guess you don't hear, if that is such a strong statistic, you don't hear outfielders getting it done to be able to try to, cut someone off a little faster, be able to throw it from center field all the way to home plate. Just a smidge harder, faster, and get those guys out. It'll be interesting to see if, how that affects those longer type of shoulder throws.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't have to get it, and it's just something minor.
Let's hope he just rests this week, and then he'll be fine. He calls up his buddy Patrick Mahomes. He rests too.
We got a new segment coming to us.
New segment alert.
By the way, for those of you that are interested in the who's who as well, remember that's the top 5 in each position. We do have them scrolling across the bottom here, so you guys can check those out. There were a couple different moves, not too much, but Joe Mixon did move up to 2 after that big game that he had. Again, he got 5 on it.
All right. This segment, Logan, this is fun. Appreciate you throwing this in here. So, all right, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to tell you a couple of stats on players. Okay. You have to tell me how many times they've gotten into the end zone. So
okay.
Get in the zone, sponsored by AutoZone. It's not really, but man, that would be really cool if they were. All right. You've had him on your team, so you may actually know this player. So we'll start with that one. He's got 100 targets. I'll even tell you the player's name. All right.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, 100 targets, 76 receptions, 1,104 yards. By far, like the highest. Next closest is 867. Anyway, 76 receptions, 100 targets, 1,100 yards. How many touchdowns does he have?
So in my mind, I've always had this thing where I think that for every 100 yards of offense that you produce, you should have a half of a touchdown. If he's got 1,100 yards, I'm thinking that he has 5 to 6. He has 6 touchdowns on the season.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
3.
Dang.
He's only got 3 touchdowns this year.
That is
unbelievable. When you think about the law of averages and what's about to happen for Tyreek Hill, he's about to have one of those massive games where he has 4 touchdowns, 4 or 5 in a game. It's going to happen very soon. And it's like the same thing with Jalen Waddle. No offense. I love Jalen Waddle, huge fan. I think he's a great football player.
He's got 7 or 8.
He's already got 6 touchdowns with, 47 receptions and 800. 800. So he's already above that, right? Half touchdown per 100 yards. His touchdown regression is coming, and that's about to slingshot Tyreek Hill into the end zone. Right. Yeah. Another one. Got another one. There's 3 players. Justin Jefferson. He's got 59 catches on 84 targets with 867 yards. Sorry, 867 yards. If he had 867 touchdowns, that would be bizarre.
Yeah.
867 yards. How many touchdowns does he have?
Yeah, he's got 3 touchdowns.
He's got 3 touchdowns as well. Yep.
Yeah, that one I didn't know for a fact. I was very sure that it was between 2 and 4. And I went with the lower of that 0.5 that I was trying to do earlier.
All right. Last one. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Allen Lazard, he's got 30 catches on 51 targets, 427 yards. How many touchdowns does he have?
127 yards. This is a tricky one because I know this one too a little bit. I know he's got 2. He could have 4. He might have 5. I'm going to go with 4.
He's got 5.
Oh,
I guess.
Let's talk about efficiency of the catch and Allen Lazard right there.
My gosh, yeah.
And targets. And look at targets too.
Every 6 catches, 1 out of every 6 is a touchdown for Allen Lazard. That's unreal.
And 1 out of every 10 target is a touchdown.
Yeah.
If that doesn't these are the kinds of things that NFL teams, I'm sure that they look at it. So it's not news to them. But why doesn't that spell throw him the fucking ball?
And I mean, you even look at yards per catch, I mean, he's at 14.2. I mean, I'm not saying that's like a magical number, but when you're looking at some of the top guys in the league, Tyreek Hill's 14.5, Justin Jefferson 14.7, Stephon Diggs 14.3. Cooper Kupp this year is 11.3. Like, he's up there with some of the top guys in the league. He's just not getting enough targets. That's it.
They're not throwing him the ball. I'm sure that's aggravating for him too, because he knows all these things.
Oh, for sure.
He knows he's got 5.
Yep.
He wants on that TD's nuts.
He wants on there. But it comes down like Aaron Rodgers, does he know? Like, yeah, he probably knows. But I don't know. I hate to talk bad about somebody when they're not in the room, right? But
it's Aaron Rodgers.
Is he getting kind of washed up, or is he at the point where he is so like me? Like, he doesn't want someone else to shine because he's having a bad year. He doesn't want Allen Lazard to have a good year despite that. Is that why he's not throwing the ball enough, or does he literally not have enough time in the pocket to throw the ball?
I would say it's the latter.
I mean, that's what I think too, but it's just
I don't think
when you see the stats like that, it's like, why are you not feeding this guy the ball?
Yeah, I do think that he does have a me thing to him, but that's more so on why he blames other people for stuff. I don't think that he is that much to where he's willing to sacrifice a win to feel like he's the best player. I don't feel like that. I feel like he wants to win every game, more so than when he wants credit for anything. But when they lose, he also wants people to know that he's kind of got a finger pointed somewhere else almost all the time. And I've read a report today that there are some players that feel like they're being scapegoated from him. And they're like, hey, he's like, it was okay at first, but now it's kind of like, hey man, you're not playing very well either. Or you're not playing very well. It's your fault. Like, you take a look in the mirror.
Yep.
But he's a 2-time MVP, defending MVP. He's still an awesome quarterback. I don't think he's washed. No, I think he's having a very rough go at it right now. But if they go to a point to where we were talking about this today, if they get to a point to where they're like 4-10, it's probably time to cut the cord.
Get Jordan Love in there.
Yeah, probably.
It's time right now.
Yep. And then
I don't think he's washed. I think as a franchise, you got to have that number. Like you're saying, is it 4-10? Like, what is that number when you move on?
And when are you going to be okay with telling Aaron Rodgers you can go somewhere else? Because they've not been okay with it yet, but I think that they need to be okay with it. If they get to that 4-10 number or whatever that number is, they need to be the one that says, you're gone. You don't get the choice anymore. We're deciding, and you're out. You can decide where you're going, but
you know what team really likes washed up quarterbacks? The Colts.
The Indianapolis Colts. Yes, sir.
Come on, Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, he's got Colts written all over him, really, and that's what I would feel fine about having an Aaron Rodgers on my team if I was the Colts. And if you compare him with the defense from last year, I mean, the defense from this year is okay, but if you compare him from the defense of the last few years, that's a pretty scary team. And get him some people that he can throw the ball to as well. Don't ignore his wants. But
and I'm not saying Michael Pittman is like a Devontae Adams, but I mean, he's up there, man. You've got a guy like that on the outside. You've got Paris Campbell, who's speedy as can be on the other side.
Yeah.
Mo Alley Cox, he doesn't get the numbers, but that dude is a matchup nightmare.
You can
how big he is. Like
you can throw the ball to Pittman 10 times a game.
Yeah.
And Alley Cox, he's huge. So down at the goal line, you can use him 100 different ways. You know what I mean?
Last time Aaron Rodgers had a tight end that was a former basketball player, he threw him a touchdown, probably 15 times that year. I don't know how many Jimmy Graham had when he was in Green Bay, but it was a lot.
He liked Jermichael Finley a lot, too, whenever Finley was there.
He did like Jermichael Finley.
Finley was a big dude, too. tall guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't like big, just tall. But.
Yeah.
But if Aaron Rodgers ever wants to, ever wants some advice, tell him give me a call.
For sure. Hey, real quick, while we're still on this, just a quick rundown. The most receiving touchdowns this year, there's 3 people tied for first place. Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, and one other player with 7 touchdowns. Do you know who that other player is?
Devontae Adams has 7 touchdowns. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that. Okay. The other player that has 7 touchdowns is Jamar Chase.
Nope.
Darn it.
He's got 6, so you're not far off. The difference maker, Travis Kelce.
I was thinking wide receiver.
I know, that's why it was a little trickery there.
Yeah, that got me. You dirty rat.
Hey, man.
All right. I like that game. We'll do that every week.
Cool. Yeah, we'll switch it up. Maybe we'll do running backs.
Yeah, we can figure out all kinds of stuff to do with that. That's fun. DFS lineups.
Yeah, I saw yours and I tried not picking those players.
Yeah.
I've got a few too. Do you want to talk about yours first?
Yeah, so we'll get into the high over-unders a little bit first. We've got the Jags and the Chiefs game at the highest one at 50.5. The Lions versus the Bears at 48.5, and the Browns versus the Dolphins at 48.5 as well. Then the low over-under Broncos versus Titans. Those are typically just up there to be mentioned, more so for defense. But both of those defenses are a little expensive, so we're going to advise to go elsewhere on defense this week.
Yep.
The quarterback's position. A couple of value plays here. That's all that I have listed. I don't know about any chalk plays. I just didn't pay too much attention to it, but I guess you could call Tua a chalk play, but he's only $6,700. I feel like that's a good play. He's in one of the top 3 high over-under games. Jacoby Brissett, he only costs $5,400, and he's playing against Tua.
Yep.
And he just coming off of a game against the Bengals where he did hang 20 on him. So it wasn't a fishy game. He could have another. And then Justin Fields, he's $6,500.
Yep. Yeah, so I think the chalk there is probably Patrick Mahomes in that Kansas City Jacksonville game at 7,900. But this week I'm definitely all over Justin Fields. It's one of those things where, I mean, he's hot. He's putting up a ton of yards. They're using him finally on the ground. He's making really good decisions. He's got a new playmaker. Claypool wasn't too involved last week, but as he gets worked in, he probably will be more.
TD's nuts.
Well, I think that's a great play, Justin Fields at QB.
Okay, yeah, I like that too. And $6,500 leaves you some room to do some other stuff. Again, not exactly cheap, not a total value of a pick, but still on the lower end. You're not paying over $7,500 for those guys. Running backs, I like Jeff Wilson. He's $5,500. I really like the cheapness of it, and it seems like they're going to use him a lot. McDaniel likes him. He liked him in San Francisco, and I think he likes him in Miami too. Then,
although chalk, Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
My gosh, man. Going against Houston this week, who literally gives up more points against the running back than any other team in the NFL. And he's on Barkley having a great year. Hard not to play or at least mention him there. He's $8,600.
Very hard.
Expensive, but
very hard not to mention him there. The one running back or another running back that I had listed was Damian Pierce in $6,300. I like putting those running backs against each other in games that could turn out being like slower paced games, and that could be one of them. But Barkley and Chubb, I think, are good. I think these are good weeks to have chalk plays too with your running backs.
Yeah, one that I like a lot is Travis Etienne. He's kind of pricey too. He's at 7,100.
Yes, 7,100. I'm not mad about it. I get why he costs that much.
Yeah,
it was just, dang. I was hoping he would cost less.
Yeah, high over under game. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot, so he's going to get some running opportunities early. I mean, they're going to run the ball. They're pretty even there. Jacksonville is, and they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. And T-Law likes to check it down, so I think he's got a lot of upside this week.
Yeah. Or like Jamal Williams too for $5,900.
Oh yeah, he's a great play this week.
Lions Bears game. I heard a couple of things on David Montgomery on starting him. I'm off it.
If you ever going to play David Montgomery this year, ever again, this is the week to do it. But yeah, I'm off of him. I think that he does have a good game this week.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think he's got a solid floor this week, but his ceiling is always going to be capped.
Yeah.
He's
like that too. With Herbert,
so inefficient with his yards. And
yeah.
It's one of those things where everyone sees it except the coaching staff. Everyone can see Khalil Herbert is drastically better, just like Tony Pollard is significantly better than Zeke.
Yeah.
And it comes down, it's the sunk cost fallacy where they've invested so much in those big names, they feel like
Did you just make a dick joke?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
You said fallacy.
Oh, yeah. No dick joke.
But no, I know what you mean. He is better.
Yeah, he's just
and it's almost like you should trade David Montgomery somewhere else. But yeah, and with the emergence of Justin Fields too, I think that hurts David Montgomery's ceiling as well.
You know where I think David Montgomery would be a good fit? Baltimore.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's durable.
Did you have any receivers down?
Yep. I've mentioned him already, but Chase Claypool, he's $4,800. And I know Darnell Mooney is there in Chicago. Cole Kmet's there at tight end. But they're going against Detroit. If there's going to be a welcome to the team party, it's this week for Chase Claypool. So I think that he's one that I may play and kind of stack him with Justin Fields.
Yeah, I would too. I think that I actually have a lineup where I am stacking them. Those two and Kmet. I've got Kmet in there too.
Same. I do too in my lineup that I'm looking at right now. So Kmet is in my tight end spot.
If we end up putting, whenever we do the TDs nuts, if we ever end up doing some sort of like odds for the touchdown and that plays into a factor, I bet that Chase Claypool has pretty low odds to score a touchdown, which would make me want to put my money on him. And he would be a good TDs nuts player this week.
Yep.
Because I think he might score a touchdown.
Yep. I want to mention too, like Juju and a lot of J's here. Juju and Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
So Jerry Jeudy being at 5,700, again forcing the ball to him. Titans give up that long ball a lot. Russell Wilson's finally going to make it happen with those moonshot throws. He's going to have a couple of TDs this week, and he's $5,700. Might as well play him.
I like. Also, wait. You said Jeudy already.
Yep, Jeudy and then Juju.
Yeah, Juju. Oh yeah, Juju. That's what reminded me of it. McCole Hardman. I like him this week too, as long as he plays. He came out a little banged up from last week, but I think that he could have a decent week, and he's pretty cheap too. I think he's only like $4,500 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's good if you want to stack him and Mahomes, because I did a lineup with that where I was stacking those two.
That would be a good one. Listen to these numbers, these targets. I'll start at week 1. 8, 3, 8, 8, 8, 5, 8, 0, because it was a bye. 12. And that's Juju.
That's Juju?
That's Juju.
Wow, I didn't realize he was getting that many targets.
Yeah. He's had 60 targets this year, 44 receptions.
Wow.
Only 2 touchdowns.
Well, Lazard's got 51 targets and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Tight ends, I got Greg Dulcich down. He's the only one that I wrote down too. It's $3,400.
Yep. Cole Kmet also 3,400. I think both of them are both solid plays this week. Another one to mention, even though it's going against a good defense, is TJ Hawkinson. First game with Minnesota, he had 9 receptions.
Oh wow. Yeah, I guess he did. He had 9 receptions and
For
9
70
touchdowns. Yeah, 70 yards. I was thinking it was 7 for 90, but it was 9 for 70. Okay.
9 for 70, yep, on his first game. I know he's going against Buffalo, but we just saw that Buffalo's defense can get scored on. And I think that the only downside is that and I don't usually put too much value there, but it's like glaringly obvious that Kirk Cousins cannot play on the road. It's almost as bad as his like primetime games. Like you always bet against Kirk Cousins in primetime.
Yeah.
But his home road split is really, really skewed.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I may fade TJ Hawkinson there.
Okay. Yeah, beyond
when you're, going against Buffalo, they're going to have all their attention on Justin Jefferson. I think it opens it up a little bit in the middle.
And he was how much was Hawkinson?
Oh, he's 5,300. You got to pay
Yeah,
for him.
a little expensive. Yeah. Defense this week, I like the Colts at $2,500 just because they're cheap, and then we said it earlier, the Cardinals at $2,700. I think that's the play.
Yep, I think that's the play too.
All right, so we'll go on to our pick 2 here instead of building that lineup. We'll build the lineup a little bit later just because we're falling short on time a little bit. Get into our pick 2. From last week, you did defeat me 31-27. That was a pretty good game. You had Lamar Jackson and Stephon Diggs. I started Aaron Rodgers. Damn it. And DeAndre Hopkins, each of them basically scoring 13 points. That takes you to 5, me to 3. So you're winning the pick 2 contest 5-3 right now.
What can I say, man? I can pick 2 players.
Mm-hmm. You can pick 2. What do you want to do this week as far as positions go?
Let's go with.
We've done quarterback 3 weeks in a row now, or 2 weeks in a row. Sorry.
Yeah, let's go with running back and tight end.
All right.
And we got to pick players we've never picked, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you haven't picked in the last, 2 or 3 weeks since we've been keeping track of them.
Yeah. Which running back are you going? Because I'll go with the other one.
Yeah.
Drake's other running back. Whichever one you don't pick, I'll pick the other.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out is if I already picked Barkley. I don't think I have.
I don't think I've picked either. Lamar Diggs, Kyler, and Ertz. That was a fun week. Eckler and Chase.
I'll tell you what. I'll take Nick Chubb.
Oh, you're going neither one.
Yeah, I'll take Chubb.
Gino and Mandrews. Yeah, I can't go. Can't go Marky Mark. All right. Yeah, I'll go Barkley.
Okay. And then I got Ertz at tight end.
Gosh, this is going to be tough.
Because, I've already picked Andrews and Kelsey.
I will go with I haven't picked Kelsey yet, and I'm not going to this week. I'm going to save him for another week. I'm going to go Freiermuth.
Okay. The Fryer man.
Moo.
Which running back did you go with? I'm sorry. C-Mac or Barkley?
Juan. The coolest name in football.
That is a pretty sweet name, I will say. I wish I had a Q in my name.
Or an X.
I don't know where you'd fit it in Logan, but
Logan Q.
yeah, maybe for in the G, but it makes a G sound.
Loquan.
Yeah, but it still makes a G sound though. It's just a Q. So that's our pick 2. So I've got Nick Chubb and Zach Ertz. You got Saquon Barkley and Pat Freiermuth. And let's get to it. Let's just pick one. It won't take too long. Why don't you pick somebody who's going to score a touchdown this week?
Yeah, I'm going with him. Chris Godwin. I already put money on him.
Chris Godwin, touchdown.
Count it.
Count it. Mark it down. I'm going with Chase Claypool. TD's nuts.
Nice. I love that.
Chase Claypool. I'm going to put some money on that and see what it looks like come Sunday.
Yeah, I think Chris Godwin, was plus 140.
What's up?
I think Chris Godwin was plus 140.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Claypool's going to have to be.
Yeah, let's just go look what Claypool is. I can look that up while we're doing predictions.
Yeah. Let me do this real quick. Freaking, what week is this anyway?
Week 10.
That's what I thought. So with the predictions, last week we both went 2-2. So I brought your overall record 18-14, brought me to 16-16. If we were betting on this, I wouldn't be winning much money right now. I'd be just about even. You would be winning a little bit of money. So maybe we have a future in betting Vegas on our fantasy league once they pick that up at the MGM.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, I don't see a let's see, touchdown scores. I don't think they put it on there yet.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a minute for it to show up. So I'll look on Sunday morning.
Yeah, they have a few of the games done. They just don't have that game done yet.
Yeah, cool. We'll do that. We can start doing we can start a competition on it. So if we could figure out something, you're the smart guy here, so you figure it out. But somehow to where like the odds give you like say Chase Claypool has plus 300 to win. That gives me 3 points if Chase Claypool scores a touchdown. If Godwin scores a touchdown, what'd you say he was plus 140?
Yep.
If he scores a touchdown, you're going to get 1.4 points.
That's cool.
For it. Now, if anybody has anything that's less, like they're minus 120 or whatever, you get a point for still predicting them, I think. So the minimum amount is 1 point.
So you get 1 point for getting it right, and then your bet, I think. So if it's
Okay, yeah.
40, I would get 2.4.
Yes, yeah. And then I would get 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
We can start doing it that way. That'll be fun. Predictions, though, for this week, we'll get into it. We got the Goats versus Wilson. That's our second matchup of the season. Damon versus Logan. Who you got?
I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. Now that he's got Diggs, I think Damon's going to pull off the win.
So you did think that before that he wasn't going to win? Well, then, fuck you. Why did you do it? I thought we were friends.
Like I said before, I don't care if I make someone else's team better, as long as mine gets better, which is arguable on that trade.
Just next time, make sure you just look and make sure he's not playing me.
All right, next time.
That's all I'm saying. Just collude with me a little bit. We're at the back of the pack. I think we're allowed to collude a little.
All right, deal.
In that game,
we could put all of our best players together, and it's probably still wouldn't be good.
I guarantee it wouldn't be better than the teams up at the top. I've got Damon winning this game as well. Even before that trade went down, I had Damon winning. I think he's just got too much firepower for me to really play with. I think that about 140 is my cap, where that's where Damon's floor sits, sort of. So I just don't think that I'm going to have enough to withstand it unless I have huge weeks out of a bunch of my players somehow, where I'm popping off 10 touchdowns somehow off of my team. But I got Damon winning that one. Second game I got marked down as Olave Another versus Gravedigger, or the Grave is Doug, whatever you want to call your name now. I've got Devin winning that game, though. How about you?
Oh yeah, Devin winning by 100.
Yeah, it's hard to not pick Devin right now with the points he's putting up, and then compared to the 97 that you did last week. But again, fantasy does have a weird way of finding it of correcting itself sometimes. But I do have Devin in this one. I don't know if it's going to correct itself that quick in that span. I do think that Josh Allen not playing will affect Devin a little bit, but he's got a strong team other than that too. So,
like right now, his defense is on a bye and it's still sitting in his defensive spot. Like he doesn't even need to change that out. He can just play a defense this week.
Right. Yeah, he could just leave it or just wait until back into Sunday or whatever, see if he needs one. Then the third game, we got Bob versus JR, Mommy Chasers versus Florida Sunshines. I'm hoping that they get together on Sunday and watch that game because I like listening to those two bicker back and forth. I think it's a lot of fun. I've got Bob winning that game too.
I got JR winning this one.
Really?
Yep.
That's cool. You think Bob? So Bob goes down. Goes Foreman. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.
And it's I think it's going to be the closest game. Probably the closest game of the week.
Yeah.
As far as points go. And it was just one of those things where now that I just think the Florida Sunshines, I think he's just got enough players now, even with Jamar Chase on bye, his team is just so stacked offensively. I don't know if Robert has enough defense to slow him down.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Final game, Grilling Dad game of the week. Sean, I'll let you take this one down.
Yeah, man. The Grilling Dad game of the week. We've got Drake going up against Mario. So Logan's mom makes a lot. Man, this is going to be a fun one too. But just their overall records making this a highlight of a game. Really competing for that number one overall spot and winning some money. But this week, I think that it's going to come down to, can Mario's offensive coordinator, the new hire, show up again?
Parks Frazier.
And with Parks Frazier, not having Joe Mixon to count on, dropping 5 touchdowns, I think we're going to see a little bit of offensive regression here. I'm going with Logan's mom.
Go ahead.
Going with Donna.
Going with Donna. Yep, the WWE Women's Champion. I'm also going with Drake's mom. I think Mario's team will take a regression. It's kind of hard to not take one after you score basically 190 points. Also, with Joe Mixon going out, that's going to hurt him. That was a lot of his points. I will say Devontae Adams got a little bit of a boost, like we said earlier, with Renfro going down and also Waller going down. They're both going to the IR, but I think Drake's team is getting a lot of firepower coming back. I think Drake has the highest score of the week this week, and Mario's just going to – his defensive coordinator is just going to have to deal with it. He's going to have to fend off a lot of points. So I got Drake in that one.
Yeah, he's usually pretty good at that, though. Usually pretty good at defense.
He does. He's got a very good defense. We'll see. That's why we got it listed as the game of the week.
Yep.
So, and it's top 2 teams, too. So they're both probably going to make the playoffs. So it's not like there's a lot of playoff stuff going, there's nothing riding on as far as playoffs go, but it's for the bragging rights for right now, and could end up having a say in who wins $100 in the regular season.
Yep.
For the regular season money.
A lot of money on the line.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. That was episode 9, guys. Thank you guys for coming. If anybody's got any questions, anybody want to call in, hit me up. We'll give you the number. I'd like to thank Rick for calling in today. The producers for hooking him up with this. We're gonna have to get Rick at the newspaper or something. Who's Jeff Saturday is. All right, man. See you later.